Hello, grüezi and merhaba. This is Emre. I come from Istanbul. I'm a mindfulness teacher, and for the last 1 year I've been living in Switzerland with my beautiful wife, who is not here now. In a few minutes you will find out why. So about a month ago, me and my wife, we were at the climbing hall. We are into bouldering, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's an indoor climbing activity. So we were about to leave the climbing hall, but my wife told me that she wants to finish that difficult route so that we can go to the restaurant that we had reservation. I said, why not? And she asked me to record her. Everything was fine. I was recording her, and she was climbing, and when she reached the top, something unexpected happened. Her hand slipped and she fell down. Ouch. I heard the sound. I can still hear the sound in my head. So at that moment, the whole world turned upside down, you know. We went through very difficult times. Actually, we are still going through very difficult times. After that, she had 2 surgeries. She's going to have 1 more in a couple of weeks. Actually, she's like a walking Bauhaus now, because she has 3 platines and 25 different pieces, screws and different things in her foot. So we really went through very difficult times. She was in physical pain, and I was in psychological pain because she was suffering and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't stop the suffering of hers. So one day I was at the hospital. I was about to leave the hospital. I was heading back to our apartment to rest a little while. I got into the elevator, and after 2 floors, the doors of the elevator opened, and here there was this old lady laying on a patient bed with the wheels and a nurse standing beside her. I think the nurse was taking her to another floor. So I noticed that the old lady was staring at me. She was looking at me in a very weird way. So, of course, we are human beings. We tend to think negative, right? It's our nature. It's in our DNAs. So the first thought that popped up in my head was, she's one of those old Swiss people who don't like foreigners. Then I realized that I'm a mindfulness teacher. So I noticed that it was just a thought. It was a judgment, actually. So even though I was very sad at that moment because of my wife's accident, I smiled at her, and the nurse took the lady to the elevator, and since there was not much space, we were very close, and the old lady kept looking at me. She didn't even leave her eyes off of me, you know. And she said something in German, and I replied back, "Ich kann nicht Deutsch sprechen," you know, I can't speak German. So the nurse translated, and when I heard the translation, I was hit by the heart, you know, because the lady was looking at me just because I just looked like her son, which she hasn't seen for years. I have goosebumps now, you know. Here I was standing at the elevator, a guy who hasn't seen his mom for a long time. And here there was this old lady who hasn't seen her son for a long time. And after a few seconds, the doors of the elevator opened again. And she looked at me in the eye and she said, "Ciao." And in return, I replied back saying, from the bottom of my heart, I said, "Ciao, Mama." At that moment, even though I was going through very difficult times, I felt like time froze, you know. I felt very happy. I saw that she's happy. I noticed that from her eyes. So, long story short, I want to finish my story with a quote which was said by Professor Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, and he says, "The little things, the little moments, they are not little." Even though when I tell the story, I have a smile on my face. Thank you for listening.